Mr. Dyer was a tall, powerfully built man with a large head, benevolent bald forehead, and a genial smile. That smile, however, often proved a trap to the unwary, for he owned a temper so irritable that a child with a chance word might ruffle it. The genial smile vanished as he took the newspaper cutting from Loveday's hand. "I would have you to remember, Miss Brooke," he said severely, "that although I am in the habit of using dispatch in my business, I am never known to be in a hurry. Hurry in affairs I take to be the especial mark of the slovenly and unpunctual." Then, as if still further to give contradiction to her words, he very deliberately unfolded her slip of newspaper, and slowly, accentuating each word and syllable, read as follows: "Singular discovery. A black leather bag, or portmanteau, was found early yesterday morning by one of Smith's newspaper boys on the doorstep of a house in the road running between Easterbrook and Wareford, and inhabited by an elderly spinster lady. The contents of the bag include a clerical collar and necktie, a church service, a book of sermons, a copy of the works of Virgil, a facsimile of Magna Carta with translations, a pair of black kid gloves, a brush and comb, some newspapers, and several small articles suggesting clerical ownership. On the top of the bag the following extraordinary letter, written in pencil on a long slip of paper, was found: "The fatal day has arrived. I can exist no longer. I go hence and shall be no more seen. But I would have coroner and jury know that I am a sane man, and a verdict of temporary insanity in my case would be an error most gross after this intimation. I care not if it is felo de se, as I shall have passed all suffering. Search diligently for my poor lifeless body in the immediate neighborhood, on the cold heath, the rail, or the river by yonder bridge. A few moments will decide how I shall depart. If I had walked aright, I might have been a power in the church of which I am now an unworthy member and priest, but the damnable sin of gambling got hold on me, and betting has been my ruin, as it has been the ruin of thousands who have preceded me. Young man, shun the bookmaker and the race course as you would shun the devil and hell. Farewell, chums of Magdalen, farewell, and take warning. Though I can claim relationship with a duke, a marquis, and a bishop, and though I am the son of a noble woman, yet I am a tramp and an outcast, verily and indeed. Sweet death, I greet thee. I dare not sign my name. To one and all, farewell. Oh, my poor Marchioness mother, a dying kiss to thee. R.I.P." The police and some of the railway officials have made a diligent search in the neighborhood of the railway station, but no poor lifeless body has been found. The police authorities are inclined to the belief that the letter is a hoax, though they are still investigating the matter. In the same deliberate fashion as he had opened and read the cutting, Mr. Dyer folded and returned it to Loveday. "May I ask," he said sarcastically, "what you see in that silly hoax to waste your and my valuable time over?" "I wanted to know," said Loveday, in the same level tones as before, "if you saw anything in it that might in some way connect this discovery with the robbery at Craigen Court." Mr. Dyer stared at her in utter blank astonishment. "When I was a boy," he said sarcastically as before, "I used to play at a game called 'What is my thought like?' Someone would think of something absurd, say the top of the monument, and someone else would hazard a guess that his thought might be, say, the toe of his left boot, and that unfortunate individual would have to show the connection between the toe of his left boot and the top of the monument. Miss Brooke, I have no wish to repeat the silly game this evening for your benefit and mine." "Oh, very well," said Loveday calmly. "I fancied you might like to talk it over, that was all. Give me my sailing orders, as you call them, and I'll endeavor to concentrate my attention on the little French maid and her various lovers." Mr. Dyer grew amiable again. "That's the point on which I wish you to fix your thoughts," he said. "You had better start for Craigen Court by the first train tomorrow. It's about 60 miles down the Great Eastern Line. Huxwell is the station you must land at. There one of the grooms from the court will meet you and drive you to the house. I have arranged with the housekeeper there, Mrs. Williams, a very worthy and discreet person, that you shall pass in the house for a niece of hers, on a visit to recruit after severe study in order to pass board school teachers' exams. Naturally you have injured your eyes as well as your health with overwork, so you can wear your blue spectacles. Your name, by the way, will be Jane Smith. Better write it down. All your work will lie among the servants of the establishment, and there will be no necessity for you to see either Sir George or Lady Cathrow. In fact, neither of them have been apprised of your intended visit. The fewer we take into our confidence, the better. I have no doubt, however, that Bates will hear from Scotland Yard when you are in the house, and will make a point of seeing you." "Has Bates unearthed anything of importance?" "Not as yet. He has discovered one of the girl's lovers, a young farmer of the name of Holt, but as he seems to be an honest, respectable young fellow, and entirely above suspicion, the discovery does not count for much." "I think there's nothing else to ask," said Loveday, rising to take her departure. "Of course I'll telegraph, should need arise, in our usual cipher." The first train that left Bishopsgate for Huxwell on the following morning included among its passengers Loveday Brooke, dressed in the neat black supposed to be appropriate to servants of the upper class. The only literature which she had provided herself in order to beguile the tedium of her journey was a small volume bound in paper boards and entitled The Reciter's Treasury. It was published at the low price of 1 shilling, and seemed specially designed to meet the requirements of third-rate amateur reciters at penny readings. Miss Brooke appeared to be all absorbed in the contents of this book during the first half of her journey. During the second, she lay back in the carriage with closed eyes, and motionless as if asleep or lost in deep thought. The stopping of the train at Huxwell aroused her, and set her collecting together her wraps. It was easy to single out the trim groom from Crayton Court from among the country loafers on the platform. Someone else beside the trim groom at the same moment caught her eye. Bates from Scotland Yard, got up in the style of a commercial traveller, and carrying the orthodox commercial bag in his hand. He was a small, wiry man, with red hair and whiskers, and an eager, hungry expression of countenance. "I am half frozen with cold," said Loveday, addressing Sir George's groom. "If you'll kindly take charge of my portmanteau, I prefer walking to driving to the court." The man gave her a few directions as to the road she was to follow, and then drove off with her box, leaving her free to indulge Mr. Bates' evident wish for a walk and confidential talk along the country road. Bates seemed to be in a happy frame of mind that morning. "Quite a simple affair this, Miss Brooks," he said. "A walk over the course, I take it, with you working inside the castle walls and I unearthing without. No complications as yet have arisen, and if that girl does not find herself in jail before another week is over her head, my name is not Jeremiah Bates." "You mean the French maid?" "Why, yes, of course. I take it there's little doubt but what she performed the double duty of unlocking the safe and the window too. You see, I look at it this way, Miss Brooke. All girls have lovers, I say to myself, but a pretty girl like that French maid is bound to have double the number of lovers than the plain ones. Now, of course, the greater number of lovers, the greater the chance there is of a criminal being found among them. That's plain as a pikestaff, isn't it?" "Just as plain." Bates felt encouraged to proceed. "Well, then, arguing on the same lines, I say to myself, this girl is only a pretty silly thing, not an accomplished criminal, or she wouldn't have admitted leaving open the safe door. Give her rope enough and she'll hang herself. In a day or two, if we let her alone, she'll be bolting off to join the fellow whose nest she has helped to feather, and we'll catch the pair of them twixt here and Dover Straits, and also possibly get a clue that will bring us on the traces of their accomplices. Eh, Miss Brooke, that'll be a thing worth doing." "Undoubtedly. Who is this coming along in the buggy at such a pace?" The question was added as the sound of wheels behind them made her look round.